Hey, good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing? We're here again. Now, today we're going to be talking about Burkina Faso, um, and Ibrahim Traore. So now, Ibrahim Traore is trying to get back to business after they kicked these hooligans out of his country and got a lot of them trapped inside the country also. So now we already know it. He's been building his freeway, his infrastructure. uh, the fact that the protesters, I mean, the terrorists are trying to destroy the freeway that he's building shows the intent, the ridiculous attempt by Europe to keep a country starving, keep a country down. It's unbelievable. But Abraham Traore knows what he's up against. That's the good thing. And he's not taking that as an answer. He is basically out there fighting back. He said, I'm going to build my freeway. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to put me in a situation where we're looking poor and Europe is looking all good, but we're the ones with all the resource and equipment. Burkina Faso has inaugurated 8 new road projects across Ouagadougou, worth more than 70 million. The development covers 22 kilometers and include a key North Ring Road corridor that you see on the thumbnail. Officials say that the infrastructure aims to improve mobility, security access, and urban connection. Now, Ibrahim Traore had the problem with getting people to build it, and you're going to see it in the video that he's talking about. And we're going to talk on it. He basically was trying to get this built, and they're told by France not to build anything for Kenya, for Africa, because they don't want Africa to be civilized. They want to be able to come in there, take the resource, assassin whoever gets in the way, and go back to Europe, enjoy, and eat people and all that. But Abraham Traore said, no. Why does it cost so much? Ibrahim Traore just wants to build 2 roads. They're telling him 24 billion. It's robbery. He goes, he says he wants to build 4 lanes there. Then he gave an enormous price. It's all an effort to make sure that he does not build. So what did he do? He went and bought all the equipment, all the tractors and trailers and everything. He bought them all, and then now he brought them over there, and he took his people and he said, "Let me train you." He said, "Let's train. Go train them." They got training, and then now they're doing it themselves. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to use your own people to build, and then they will appreciate it more, and they will take care of it because they built it. They paid for it. This is what you call a republic, and the investment comes from the capital faces, the gold, the mineral, the resource. This is why the terrorists are blowing up their farms, blowing up their tomato farms, blowing up their lettuce farm, unaliving the animals, destroying the farms, destroying the freeway. Can you believe it? This is so sad. So what Burkina Faso has done is that he has made sure that he eliminates these terrorists that were in his area. Now he knows that he got to go to Mali and do the same thing. The war is not over for him, you see. And then also, Burkina Faso is basically now building other infrastructures that could help out. More buildings, more commercial buildings. He wants to build some skyscrapers and so forth. And he wants to be like several West African nations, and increase his infrastructure, create tourism, and be able to import and export more effectively with the help of borderline countries along the coast, giving him access to the sea. So it's going a long way. Let's watch and see what's going on with um, with Burkina Faso right here. It's impossible. The world lacked Burkina Faso, a poor, landlocked Sahel nation, under attack from terrorism, under sanctions, under pressure, a country many outsiders had already written off. But then something impossible started happening. Bulldozers appeared, massive machines rolled across dusty plains. Villagers gathered in disbelief. Roads began rising from the earth at shocking speed. And at the center of it all stood a 30-something captain the world cannot stop talking about. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young military leader many Western analysts dismissed as another junta ruler. But now, even critics are asking dangerous questions. How is Burkina Faso building mega infrastructure projects faster and cheaper than countries with far bigger economies? How is a sanctioned nation suddenly constructing one of the most ambitious highways in West African history without IMF loan? Let me show you something. The world cannot stop talking about Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young military. So, you see, he had to buy, he went and bought all these equipments. You see the equipments behind him? He went and bought all these equipments. These equipments are from Russia, Turkey, the equipments, and some Asian countries who are in support of him gaining his independence and freedom. So that's what they're doing right now, and they had to train their own people, send them to some crash course to get some training, and then come back while the terrorist is trying to blow up the equipment that he just bought to build the freeway. Infrastructure projects faster and cheaper than countries with far bigger economies. How is a sanctioned nation suddenly constructing one of the most ambitious highways in West African history without IMF loans? You don't need no IMF loan. Ordinary citizens donating money, labor, and even cement to help build their own roads. Because what is happening in Burkina Faso is not just construction, it is psychological warfare against dependency. And if this model succeeds, it could inspire an entire continent to rethink everything. This is the story of Faso Mayball. Let's build a fatherland. A slogan that has become a revolution. To understand why this matters, you first have to understand how deep the frustration ran. Burkina Faso is massive. Over 274. Okay, so you see right here, Niger is right here. And up here is Mali. So if those terrorists win and successful and they come, they're gonna start destroying Burkina Faso again. Okay, he has eradicated them. Now they're sending they're high they're to getting calling his generals on the phone, come have a talk with Omicron or whoever, and then they offer them something, and then they have to go set up Ibrahim Traore to get assassinated. That's their only option now. Now Nigeria, Ghana's here, Togo's here, Benin is here, Nigeria's right here. Okay, Nigeria and the U.S. have military in here, getting ready to infiltrate right here and stop and take over. Kenya, Kenya's coming too. Kenya's coming. Kenya's going to try to come into Nigeria. They were rejected by Togo. They were rejected by Benin. They were rejected by Ghana. And now they're here in Nigeria, and they're getting ready to come in and attack. But their plan foiled. It failed because Mali defended its border. Niger, Burkina Faso came in and assisted Mali, which they're supposed to, because now they're all one state. But externally, but internally they're not. And they pushed up north. I mean, the military went up north and now is helping Mali to destroy and eradicate all those terrorists coming from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkestan, and the rest of who are hired by the UAE, Dubai, Saudi Arabia to attack the Sahara. They already destroyed the Sahara. Now it's called the Sahel. Now they want to come down more and do more damage for resource.
Kilometers, bigger than the United Kingdom, bigger than New Zealand,
Yeah.
a nation full of hard-working people, rich.
Look at that. Look at this beautiful country. They want to destroy it. They don't like this. They don't. They don't. This is not European. Europe does not like this. They don't want Africa to be civilized.
Oil, gold reserves, and strategic importance. Yet after more than 6 decades of independence, much of the country remained disconnected. Broken roads, dusty paths, dangerous travel routes,
No
entire
growth.
communities isolated during rainy seasons. Farmers struggled getting crops to markets. Patients died trying to reach hospitals. Students traveled for hours through collapsing infrastructure. And people kept asking the same painful question: how can a country be independent for over 60 years and still struggle to connect its own cities? That question became heavier every year, especially because billions of dollars had already entered Africa in the name of development. Loans, aid packages, infrastructure deals. Yet somehow, ordinary Africans rarely saw the transformation they were promised. Road projects dragged for years,
See, they got
costs
skyscraper right
ballooned
there.
endlessly, foreign contractors got rich, and debt piled higher. This cycle became painfully familiar across Africa. Borrow money, hire foreign firms, repay the debt for decades. Meanwhile, the roads themselves often cracked before the loans were even finished. That cycle created anger in Burkina Faso. Then came September 2022. A young captain emerged during one of the country's darkest periods. Security crises were intensifying, communities were under attack, public trust in leadership.
See, that's what we talk about. Public trust. There's these people they want to go to Europe and do Uber driving, so they're offered money, knowing that they're not going to receive it, knowing from previous examples of people that betrayed their leader only to end up in Europe unalived. Okay, why do they not learn their lesson? They think, oh, it's not going to happen to me because I gave top secret.
Collapsed. Then suddenly, Ibrahim Traoré stepped into power carrying something unusual. Not polished speeches, not foreign approval, conviction. He spoke the language many Africans had been waiting to hear: self-reliance, sovereignty, dignity. Thomas Sankara. That last name changed everything emotionally, because Thomas Sankara is not just an historical figure in Burkina Faso. He is almost spiritual. The revolutionary leader who dared to tell Africans they could stand on their own feet. Who rejected
They were
bloodshed
standing on
while
their
his
own feet
people suffered.
before.
Who challenged
It's because they're
imperial
going to
influence
that.
openly. Who believed Africa must produce, build, and think independently.
They,
For decades, Sankara remained a symbol of unfinished dreams. And suddenly, Burkina Faso youths saw traces of that spirit returning through.
you see, when you're trying to build, they're gonna do a lot of things. Yeah, you got your contract, you get your equipment, they blow up your ship on sea. Now you got to order, you got to have insurance. You see, this is the game they play. You're building, you're doing your development and everything. You know, uh, they start sending terrorists in to unalive your workers, like they did in Mali. All the crop workers, tomato plant, and everything in Mali, they burnt them, they unalived them. They blew up all the food trucks, all the traffic. You can see it in Mali. All the trucks, all the 18-wheelers blown up because they don't want them to develop. They said that Mali's going to be their state, but now they're all unalived, and it's a good job by Mali.
Array, especially when the infrastructure revolution began. At first, people did not believe it. The announcement sounded too ambitious. Thousands of kilometers of roads annually, heavy equipment fleets arriving, massive sovereign projects without IMF dependency. Most people assumed it was political theater. Then the machines actually arrived. Hundreds of them. Excavators, graders, bulldozers, compactors, a
Yes.
giant mechanical army. And suddenly the mood changed completely. Because in Africa, people are tired of speeches. They want visible action. Traoré understood that deeply. He realized infrastructure is not only economic, it is psychological. Roads tell citizens whether a nation is moving forward or dying.
You see that? Roads tell if people are moving forward or dying. You see, what France wants is them to die.
Slowly, a smooth highway signals dignity. A collapsing road signals abandonment. So when Faso Mabo launched, it touched something emotional inside ordinary people. The slogan itself was powerful. Let's build the fatherland. Not let the donors build it. Not wait for foreign investment. Let us build it. That shift in language matters enormously because language shapes psychology and psychology shapes nations. Then came the project that stunned Africa, the Ouagadougou Bobo Dioulasso Expressway. This is where the story stopped sounding symbolic and it started looking historic. A gigantic modern highway linking the capital to Burkina Faso's economic hub, hundreds of kilometers long, 8 lanes wide, not 2 lanes. 8.
Look at that. Look at that bulldozer. Look at them lined up, ready to go to work, ready to do some heavy duty lifting. That sounds cool. So it must be East Asian.
That detail shocked people.
This is all they want. They just want a city of their own country.
Many African nations struggle to build small modern highways without drowning in debt. Yet Burkina Faso announced an 8 lane megaproject under sovereign financing, and critics immediately mocked the plan. Impossible, unrealistic, propaganda. But then the land clearing started. Fast, too fast. Reports from the ground described astonishing progress in mere weeks. Entire stretches opened rapidly by local teams. Young engineers mobilized, workers trained, machinery deployed aggressively. And suddenly outsiders realized something dangerous was happening. Burkina Faso was proving Africans could execute massive projects themselves, without begging. That idea terrifies the old system, because dependency is not only economic, it is mental. If Africans begin believing they can finance, build, and manage their own mega projects, foreign
Yeah, look at that. They're making it happen. They're pushing forward. They're buying the vehicles. What do they say? Oh, we after they destroy your land, destroy you from moving forward. They sabotage everything you're trying to do. They unalive everybody, and then they leave for like a second, and they come back and say, "Hey, I'm here to help you." And then they go tell the people, "See, they can't develop." Like in Zimbabwe, when they kicked out those farmers, what did they do? They threw the GMO all over the farm so nothing will grow. They destroyed the equipment. They destroyed the crop, everything. They sabotaged the whole land where you can't build for 100 years. You can't grow anything for 100 years. Just basically, these people do not let them in your country.
bridge weakens dramatically. That is the deeper battle happening right now. A battle over confidence. Traoré reportedly rejected outrageously expensive foreign proposals. Stories circulated claiming international firms wanted enormous sums for smaller road projects. Burkina Faso instead pursued local execution and sovereign control over Ouagadougou Highway. If you take the busy road for the past 2 years now, just look at the number of projects we have along the road. The road is very narrow. There are too many fatal accidents. Every day there are fatal accidents on that stretch of
Wow.
the road. Part of project that already existed, but it's just 2 lanes each way. And when I took over, I tried to see which companies had submitted proposals. First of all, they were foreign companies. The construction costs for about 300 kilometers, 2 lanes each way, was over 1,000 billion.
Whoa,
32 billion for the cheapest option.
32 billion just for
Whereas
two
the
roads,
massive 2 lanes
two
is
lanes.
already outdated. With 2 lanes each way, if a truck breaks down, it just stops there. And that's it. Everything is gone. possible. I said, all right, we put the project on hold. And so I pushed the mayor to pay for as much equipment as possible, down to every detail. Today they have everything.
Yes.
All the machines needed to build the red road section.
And this all happened because Burkina Faso took charge of the gold. Without the gold, you won't be able to do this. This is why you need control of your resource. The IMF friends, they want to take your resource, hold it, and tell you how much gold, how much mineral resources, how much copper, how much platinum you can take out of your own resource. You got to be careful with what you're signing when you're dealing with France, when you're dealing with the IMF. It is out of control. It's ridiculous because the fact that you got a white family from Europe who just received money from their this is how it happens. Usually people get money and they go and um, they buy land, okay? And they start with that land, but a lot of times they don't pay for it or anything. They just take it and then they start growing on it and doing corruption and then they're working with Europe. And when you're going to these people who are foreigners on your land to buy stuff, they start cutting you off. They start saying, no, I can't do that. Their loyalty is to the IMF, to Europe, not to your country. That's why when you sell stuff, you have to sell stuff to your own people. Because when you got other people in control of your resource, they're going to say, oh, I don't want to give that to you. Oh, I don't want to have, but the whole time they're shipping everything back to Europe. So you got to be careful. You got to know what's going on.
Machines needed for the asphalt, even up to the granite quarry crusher. So they are completely self-sufficient.
Yes,
We are able to build our own highway.
correct. Their own building. They're able to build their own highway, their own buildings, their own houses, their own commercial center, everything. And France hates that. The fact that even last week he called for a meeting with Ibrahim Traore and he rejected it because he already knows what Macron is going to do when he goes up there. He's going to unalive him, shoot down his airplane, the whole shenanigan. You can't trust these people.
Highways. I don't know the regional capitals on the island connected by highways. All the exits from Burkina should be highways. Roads are essential. For the economy and for our forces, the highway network in Burkina will be the densest in Africa, according to our projections. And it keeps coming. We still have many of us against that are yet to arrive. And the cost comparisons started spreading across social media like wildfire. This became explosive politically because citizens across Africa began comparing numbers. Why are some countries paying astronomical prices per kilometer while Burkina Faso builds cheaper?
Wow, look
Why
at
do
this.
some projects take decades elsewhere?
You see that? This is what you want to see. This is nice. You see this? They don't like this. They don't like this. This this is a problem to Europe, to the IMF. They're losing money when this happens.
While local Burkinabe teams move rapidly, those comparisons created uncomfortable conversations, especially in countries drowning in infrastructure debt. And then Kenya entered the debate, not as an enemy, but as a mirror. Many Africans began comparing Burkina Faso's highway costs to expensive East African PPP projects and toll road models. Parliamentary discussions in Kenya itself reportedly referenced Burkina Faso's approach. That was symbolic, because Burkina Faso is not supposed to become the benchmark, not according to the old narrative. The Sahel was supposed to remain dependent and unstable forever. Yet suddenly, African citizens elsewhere were saying, wait, if Burkina Faso can attempt this under sanctions, what excuse do wealthier nations have? That question spread rapidly online, and questions are dangerous, especially when populations begin questioning economic models that enrich outsiders more than citizens.
Yeah. So that's it right there. We're just looking at Burkina Faso, what's going on there, keeping the updates. He went to we just had a UN conference where Mali cussed out France. You should go see it. Later on, we're going to be talking about um, Kenya. Uh, Basically, in 2025, Ruto had taken the people's property, paid off freeholders' property without their permission, without their consent. He flew all the way to Europe, signed a deal with the IMF and Macron to take the people of Kenya's land that they have for free, that they work for free for, that they paid for already, and told them, your land is worth this and that. We done went from a freehold, now we're in a leasehold. You're going to pay the government for your property, which you already paid. So it's ridiculous. Tune in later on today. We're going to be talking about that. Thanks for coming by. I enjoy speaking to you guys.